Okay, we're going to start out with how do you write a check, which is a kind of a lost skill because a lot of people don't ever have to write checks very often, and so I'm going to make sure you know how to do this today. Okay, because you probably will have to write one sooner or later. So you're paying a gas bill for your home that you purchased with a check that you're going to mail in. You owe $49.17 to Northwest Natural Gas. So you're going to use the blank check and you're going to fill in all the necessary information. Okay, so if you look at the check, it's got your name and your address up here. Okay, if you look, this is called your routing number and this is your account number. Okay, up here is your check number. So usually it starts out at 101. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to fill in the date. Okay, so, maybe it's September 12th, 2020. Okay, pay to the order of. So this is going to be Northwest Natural Gas. That's who you're paying the money to. Now, right here, you're going to write out the amount of money that you're going to pay them. $49.17. Okay? Make sure that you put the first number as close to the dollar sign as you can because it has been known that people will do something like slip another number in here and, try to get extra money out of that. Okay? So that helps is if you put that right up against there. Okay, next thing, another protection. You're going to write this number out down here just like this. This is going to be 49 and 17 100ths. And then you put a line the rest of the way through that line. Okay, this prevents people from doing things like putting a 1 right there. Okay, because they'd have to fit in 100 in front of this, and that's pretty hard to do. Okay, now down here, you're going to sign your name. So this would be, in this case, Allison, whatever, is her name. Okay, and now this is a legal document. Okay. And then there's a memo line down here. Now, normally what I would do is if I was paying Northwest Natural Gas, I would look on my bill, find my account number that I have with Northwest Natural Gas, and I would write down here account number, 23456-7, whatever your account number is. Now, why do you want to do that? Well, sometimes when you send in a check, you send it in with a copy of the bill, and sometimes that copy of the bill gets separated, and it might not, especially if you have a common name, they might not know which account to apply this to. So if you write the account number down on there, they know where that money is supposed to go. Okay, very simple to write a check. So next Wednesday is your cousin Javante May's 17th birthday. And as a gift, you got him a card and would like to send him a check for $20. So you use the blank check below and fill in all the information necessary to send this gift to your cousin. So what I'll do is I'll give you a couple seconds to kind of fill this in on your notes on your own. And then I'll do it for you and you can compare it. So we'll just pause this here for just a second, give you a chance to... Okay, so... here we go. So let's say the date on this that you write the check is going to be September 25th, 2020. So you're going to make this, you should have made this out to Javante Mays, and it's for $20. Okay, so you can just write 20 exactly. Draw the line through there. So Allison signs her signature down here. And then, I don't know, there's no account number, so you can just write, happy birthday in the memo line. That way, if you ever are not sure what the check is, you can always, get a copy of the check, and sometimes this will clue you in on what you spent it for. Okay? All right, let's move on. So, Nick has a checking account with Park Slope Savings Bank. He writes a check for $1,721 for car repairs. He writes another one for a new guitar strings for $32.50. He deposits his paycheck for $821.53. He goes online and pays his Verizon bill for $101.50 and his cable bill for $138.90. His original balance was $3,672.27. Fill out the check register and bring down the balances. Okay, so with your checking account, or with your checkbook, usually the bottom half is your checks and the top is your check register. That's what you use to keep track of your transactions. So it says here that his original balance was $3,672.27. So this is obviously a new page. On the very top here, he wants to write $3,672.27. Okay. Now, in a check register, his first thing he's going to do is he's going to write a check for $1,721. So we don't actually have a check here to look at, but let's say his next check number was $5,328. Okay, then you write down the date. So say 9/27. Okay, and then the transaction, this is where he would write Park, or I'm sorry, not Park. He would write this out to the car repairs. So I don't know, let's say it's Northwest Auto. Now, it gives you 2 lines. It's a good idea. You don't have to do this, obviously, but it's a good idea to write what it was for, because sometimes you go back a month later and you're looking at a transaction like, why did I write that check? Okay, this one's pretty obvious. It's to an auto company, but it might not be obvious, so you can just write auto repair. Okay, and my payment, $1,721, goes right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, there's 2 lines over here too. I'm going to put my 1721 right here. And then I'm going to subtract this from this up here. So I'm going to have 27 cents. There's going to be a 1 and a 5 and a 9 and a 1. So this is my new balance in my account. So I got this one done. Okay, my next transaction is he writes another for a guitar string. So 5,329 is his next check. Let's say this is the next day, so it's 9/28. Okay, and he writes it to Guitars Are Us for guitar strings. Okay, and then he puts down the amount, $32.50 on the payments, and he puts it over here, $32.50, and he subtracts that, so that's 7, 0, let's see, that's going to be 8, that's going to be 191. Now, if you're not great at math, it's a good idea to use a calculator to bring those balances down, because I can't tell you, I'm pretty good at math, and occasionally I would make mistakes on my subtraction, and then you get yourself in trouble because you got money in your account that you don't think you had. So that transaction is done right there. The next transaction is he gets his paycheck for $821.53. Now that's a deposit, so that goes into this column right here, $821.53. $821.53. And we're going to go ahead and add that. So that's going to be 0, 13, 10, that's 4, 17, so it's 27, 40, 30. Oh, and I got to write deposit right here. And the date, so say that's the same day, 9/28. I don't have a check number over here, so I don't have to do anything with that. So that one's done. Now he's got a bill that he pays for the Verizon bill, so $53.30. We'll say it's the next day, 9/29. Verizon. Okay, it's pretty obvious what your Verizon bill is, so I'm not going to put a notation for that. It's $101.50. So 101.50. 8, 3, 6, 26.38.80. And that takes care of that one. And then lastly, he's got a cable bill. So maybe he pays that one online. So instead of writing a check, you can just say ETF, electronic transfer of funds. Okay, and that was on 9/30, and to Comcast or whoever the cable provider is, and 138.90. And so then we've got a balance, so 9 of $24.99.90. Okay, so we filled out the transaction sheet right there. Okay, let's move on to our next page here. So Allison currently has a balance of $2,300 in her checking account. She deposits a $425.33 paycheck, a $20 rebate check, and a personal check for $550 into her checking account. She wants to receive $200 in cash. How much will she have in her account after the transaction? Okay, so that's pretty simple to do, simple addition. So we're going to take her $2,300 balance, and we're going to add to that $425.33 because we're depositing that. So that's $27.25.33. We're going to add $20 for the rebate check, so that's $27.45.33. She got a personal check for $550, so we'll go ahead and add that. Okay, so there's 5, there's 9, there's 12, so she's got $3,295.33, and then she wanted $200 in cash, so we're going to subtract that out. So we'll take that over here, $32.95.33, and we'll take away the $200, and so she should have $3,095.33 in her account. Okay, this right here is a deposit slip. Okay, so you need to fill one of these things out when you deposit any checks. So if you look here, it should be, these are in the back of your checkbook. They got your name and account number. They've got your routing number and your checking account. Okay, so the date. So let's say it's October 1st, 2020. Okay, and then if you had any cash that you were depositing, you would write that here. Now, we don't have any cash in this transaction, so we got nothing to write there. The next thing is you list your checks. Okay, so she's got one for $425.33. That's going to go here. She had another one for $20. That's going to go here. Okay, and she had another one for $550. That's going to go here. And then a subtotal, so you're going to add all this up. So that's 33, that's 5, that's 9, and then, so she's deposited $995.33 into her account. Now, less cash. So she wanted $200. So she's going to put that $200 right here, and she's going to subtract whatever this is from here. So this is going to be $795.33. That's her net deposit. Now, if you're going to take cash, if you're going to less cash, you have to sign this. So this would be, she'd have to sign this as Allison, whatever right there. And then you include that with your checks. And now these little blanks over here, there's a little code on the checks. And I don't have a check that I can show you right now, but it's usually, it refers to what bank it belongs to, and you just write that little code right here. If you have more checks than you can fit on this, if you flip this thing over, you can list a whole bunch more on the back, and then you bring over a total from the back and you put it right here. Okay, so if I had 5 checks, I would only put 2 on the front, I'd put the other 3 on the back, and this number would be the total from the back of the other 3 checks. Okay? Okay, last bit of notes here today. So you got to fill out your check register here. So it's partially filled out. Here's the amount of money that she's got to start with. She wrote a check to Safeway on 8/30, check number 241. On 9/4, she wrote a check 242 to Milwaukee High School for $35. Okay, and so then again, Allison's check register is at the right. Enter her deposit and bring down her balance. So she deposited, what did she deposit? $795.33 was her net deposit. So we would write that $795.33 right there. I would write deposit. I'd write the date right here, whatever that was. So, I don't know, 10/1. Okay, I would put the $795.33 over here, and then I would add those up. And so this would be $3,095.33. Okay, do a really good job on this part. Keep this really accurate all the time so that you avoid bouncing a check or overdrawing your account or having insufficient funds. Okay? I actually knew a lady once who had never had a checking account before, and when she got married, her husband put her on his, and she didn't know how a checking account worked. She just thought that as long as you had checks, you could write checks, and so that's what she did, and pretty soon they were bouncing checks all over the place. And her husband was like, what are you doing? I mean, we don't have that kind of money in the account. She says, well, I still have checks left in my checkbook. Okay, you can't write a check on an account unless you have money in the account. Okay, so there was one more transaction here too. She was supposed to take a $40 ATM. So we could go ahead and write, 10/2, she took an ATM for $40. We write that there, and we'd subtract. So she ends up with $3,055.33, and that's her final balance. $3,055.33. Okay, so next, you're going to work on the packet, which I've gone ahead and attached that to this. I will also email it to you as well. There's several pages here for you to do. Some of them, like this doesn't take very long to do this. Filling out some check registers and whatnot. So this should be due the next class. So good luck with that, and I will see you during asynchronous time.